I'll start probably off with my college days and then go from there. So obviously I went to Marymount University 4 years.
What?
Yeah, yeah.
Got
That's,
up.
that's my spot. I was super involved with Marymount, literally everything that you could possibly be involved with. Brogna obviously knows that, like honors program, literally front desk management, whatever that was called, Brog.
Toughest job in the world.
Were you a student ambassador?
Uh,
Did you give tours?
yeah. No, I didn't do that. I didn't do that. But I did the like peer mentor program, where like you literally were involved with a freshman class, and you had to like help them out each day, each class. It was, I don't know. It was something that got me paid. So that's why I did it.
Get the
What
bag.
else? Obviously involved with the basketball team heavy. I wasn't a great player, but
Neither
I,
was
I
mine.
I was good enough to get in. I was on that level. But yeah, so heavily involved at Marymount, did a bunch of things there. Loved my time there. My junior year, I did a internship with the hoop group. And that's really where everything kind of started, like basketball wise, because the guy that ran hoop group, his name was Zach Curran. He recruited me to Marymount. And so I kind of already had that connection to him. And he set me up at the hoop group. The hoop group times, like I we could have a whole different episode on all the stuff that I did there, but that was a grind literally every day, like 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. Like it was a grind.
All right,
But
slow down. I gotta. You're getting too far ahead. I want to.
Yeah.
I want to back up even further.
Yeah.
So let's go back to like where were you born and what was like
Gotcha.
the early years of Josh
Yeah,
Giardina's life like.
yeah, yeah, I got you. So I was born in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. Harrisburg's like it's a super, so there's a city side and then there's like a farm type side, suburb side. I grew up in more like the city area of Harrisburg, and grew up playing baseball really. Played basketball too, but baseball was really what I was like good at. I was like all county, all everything, all tournament, everything. My dad wanted me to play baseball. Everyone really wanted me to play baseball. They thought I was going to go to college and play baseball. But ended up just falling in love with basketball. In high school, I was coached by Mike Hibbs. So Mike Hibbs is like a big time coach at in DC. He was at um one of those
He was at good counsel
WCAC.
for a little bit.
Yeah, yeah, good counsel. He was at where else was he at? One of those WCAC schools, but he's a really good coach, and he really was the one that developed me in high school to really fall in love with basketball, fall in love with the game. And shoot, that's really what my childhood was like. Sports, being around the family, all that good stuff.
What was it about basketball? Because you said you must have been good at baseball. You could have taken it a
Right.
little further. Why
Yeah.
why why the switch up? You just liked it more?
Yeah, I mean, I liked, to be honest with you, baseball for me was just too slow. And my dad, literally every game, my dad would yell at me in baseball, and I was tired of it. I was so tired of it. I was like, all right, like I'm literally just gonna play basketball because my dad wasn't the coach in basketball. So I was like, all right, I'm just gonna play basketball. And so I ended up playing basketball and up pace and more fans, up pace and more fans. And I was like, all right, I gotta stick with this.
So what was your high school career like?
I mean, I was a lot better in high school than I was in college, obviously. But high school, I played varsity as a sophomore. I probably averaged like eight, 8 or 9 as a sophomore, like 10 as a junior, and then like my senior year, obviously I was killing it. I think I had like 15 a game, bunch of assists a game. Like I played in a really big high school. So my high school was like 850 for one class. So I played in a really big high school.
What?
Yeah, so there was a bunch of people, 6A, and it was super hard to even get out of our conference in high school because we played in such a hard conference. But I mean, I did well, and I thought that helped me prepare for college, even though I wasn't that good in college. But I thought
What
it helped prepare me just the practices and stuff.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. So you said you went from averaging 8 to 15. Was that like junior to senior year?
Yeah, so it was like 10 my junior year, and then probably 15 my senior year.
So it was a gradual ramp up.
Yeah, and
Okay.
I credit that more to my coaching staff there. Like my head coach and my assistant coach, whenever I was in high school, like they were big on like letting the seniors play. So whenever I was a junior, like it was all about the seniors. Like the seniors played the most. Like it didn't matter how good they were. It didn't matter. Like honestly, they didn't really care about wins and losses. They just wanted the seniors to play. They wanted them to have a good senior year. Like that's how it was. But like whenever I was a senior, I was loving it because I was taking all the shots and we were we were balling.
If any coaches
That's
are listening to
ridiculous.
this,
That's ridiculous.
that is not a good way to coach a team.
Hey,
Dude,
that's not how I'm coaching my teams, but
that stuff used to piss me off in high school, man. Like you got kids that are sophomores better than some of the seniors and they're still playing this. Like, come on, man.
yeah,
Okay. So anyway, so it was more of like a confidence thing that stemmed from
right,
the coaches giving you the green light. Okay. Okay.
100%.
How did the recruiting go down? How did Coach Curran come across you?
Yeah, that's good. So whenever I was in high school, our high school coach didn't allow us to really play AAU. He tried to keep us together as much as he could. So we would go to like literally we would go to AAU tournaments with our high school team. And
Dude, I
so
was the
like
same way.
yeah, we were going to the best AAU tournaments. Like my high school coach was so connected with the DMV. Like we would go to DMV and we would just get our butt kicked like every weekend because like we were playing like solid AAU teams. Like it wasn't fair at all. But it was in those tournaments. I think that's where Zach saw me, and I did a couple like showcase events in my local area that Zach was at, and he saw me there too. So it was probably one of those two, to be honest with you.
What was your take on Division 3 athletics coming out of high school? Do you have any like older siblings who played sports or anything like that, or was this like a
Yeah.
completely fresh new phase?
Yeah, so I have a brother. He played like high school basketball, high school baseball. He didn't really get recruited like that. So he didn't play any sports in college. But yeah, for me, I just wanted to get into some type of like I knew whenever I was picking a college, it was gonna be like this sounds bad, but I wanted to play basketball in college. It didn't matter where it was, it didn't matter what division. Like I knew that I loved playing basketball in high school. And I kind of always that's what I centered my life around in high school, to be honest with you. Like summers, like weekends, everything was basketball, basketball. And I was like, I can't just go to Penn State like everybody else is in my high school. Like I gotta
Yeah.
go to somewhere where I gotta do what I love to do, play basketball, see where it goes. So I knew kind of I was gonna play somewhere. I didn't know what level. It was always like, D2, D1. Like I had some friends that would walk on to Penn State, and that was like an option. But I kind of wanted to play. I wanted to get involved with the team. Like so, I wanted to go somewhere where I could play, make an impact. And I just wanted to hoop, to be honest. Yeah,
Respect, respect.
yeah,
For those of you that don't know that are watching this, we all went to the same college and played. Um,
D3 hoops, baby.
yeah, absolutely. Big shout out to Marymount University. Um, so what was that transition like for all the before we get into like your actual college career,
yeah,
going from averaging 8 a game to then 10, 15, whatever, then going to college for any kids out there that are like averaging 8, let's say, or less right now, what advice would you give to them to get to that college level?
yeah. So whenever I was a junior, um, one thing I forgot to mention, my mom works for the high school. She's a secretary for the high school. So she would always get me in the gym. She always got me into the little locker room where the gun was at, so we could put the gun up and I could shoot. And I'm telling you, I used to go into the gym every morning before classes. Our class started at 8. I would try to get in the gym at like 6:45, workout, try to get a shower in before 8. But I used to just get in the gym, just shoot in the gym as much as I could. And I mean, it just gave me the confidence for when I was a senior that I could just shoot whatever I want, because I knew I worked harder than anybody else on the team, because I knew for our high school it was so hard to like get in the gym, because like they always lock the gym down, like nobody could use the gym. And so like the fact that I could get on the gun and like have my mom do that for me, like I felt like that like separated me, and it just gave me the confidence. I was like, all right, I can do this
Yeah,
now. I can
it's
let that
crazy to
shit go.
hear. It's crazy to hear you say that because like when you talk to people about like, oh, I want to play sports at the next level or whatever it is, everybody who played at the next level put that work in. And like there's so many of the same stories where it's like, oh, I was in the gym for an hour before school. And like
Right.
it's you can see that across the board for whatever sport. And it's just crazy that like the formula's there and it's like an
Yeah.
option, but like people are just not willing to do that.
Yeah. And another thing, like a lot of our guys, so a lot of our guys at like even Tennessee, like a lot of our guys, they think that like getting in the gym for like 2 hours is what they need to do. And they don't like focus on the stuff that they need to focus on. They don't go as hard as they need to go. And that's kind of what I've realized like throughout my college career. I know I'm jumping to my college career, but like I didn't work out how I should have really worked out. And I don't know if that's really on me, but like I've realized like as I've progressed up, like how you're supposed to be working out in the gym alone, how you're supposed to be working out every day in practice. Like you kind of realize that as you are around the game a little bit more. And I definitely think that if I would have worked out like that in high school, I would have been at a D2, D1 level, I think.
Dunking on people.
Hey man,
How many shots do you think you got up a day in high school in the
in
morning
high
morning
school,
sessions?
I probably made probably 200. I probably made 200 shots before I went to my class at 8 a.m.
Okay.
Sometimes probably less because I was missing a bunch, but 200 usually was the goal to make.
We're gonna edit that part
Did
out.
did anybody ever yeah. Did anybody ever try to show up with you? Try to work out with you before school?
Yeah. So the other guy on my team, on my high school team, his name is Bo Wagner. He ended up going to Penn State as a manager, but he was and he's now the GA at Penn State. So he's trying to get
Awesome.
into coaching as well. But he was on my high school team with me, and he was one of the guys that would try to get in the gym with me the most. He was also a pretty good player. But yeah, he was the one that really got in the gym with me. But not many other of our guys really wanted to wake up before 6
Hard.
a.m. 6 a.m. to work out.
Really hard. All right.
Yeah.
Let's fast forward then. We get to college.
Yep.
Walk us through your college career. What was that like? What was the adjustment like freshman year, and then how did it
Yeah.
end up senior year?
Yeah. So freshman year, I mean, practices weren't really like hard, I would say. Like I had some hard practices in high school, so I wouldn't say practices were hard freshman year. It was more like the physicality of it was a little different. You're playing with bigger guys, stronger guys. Um, I would say Mike Anderson, our senior point guard at the time, he like I would say he challenged me. Yeah, he definitely challenged me. He tried to make an effort to push me every day. I think he saw in me that like I could be a good player, and he kind of wanted to test me every day. And I think he did a really good job at showing me like how it's done, how hard you have to play to win. And I think that that was one of the things freshman year that stood out to me, and I was like I got to be like this dude. And as I went on, I tried to replicate what he did his senior year, because I looked up to him, and I thought he did a super good job at being the point guard, being the leader on the team.
So give the people a little bit of perspective. What were your stat lines?
Uh, my freshman year, so I think so we had like 8 freshmen, I believe, my freshman year. And me and Ibrahim Kamara, we were the only 2 freshmen that played in every single game, I think. I mean, at least I got into the game. You know what I mean? Like I think I averaged probably like 1 or 2 points a game. I couldn't tell you. I think it's probably closer to 1 point a game. But I mean, my role was really like getting in the game and making sure like the score doesn't jump. Like I would come in for Mike. I was direct sub for Mike Anderson. Mike would play probably 30 minutes a game. I would play like 10 minutes a game. And it was really whenever Mike needed a blow, he would look to the sideline, look to Chris Rogers and be like, hey, like he's got to get in the game. But I mean, every team's got those type of players, and I was just playing my role, and hopefully I could play next year. You know what I mean? Like I knew Mike was going to leave next year, and then I could have that spot and do what Mike did. That was the goal.
So how did it progress then? What did you go junior, senior year?
Yeah. So sophomore year, I started the first 8 games. No, I started the first 6 games, and then I got hurt. I had a stress fracture in my left foot. So I was out for the season. Yep. No, I was out. So I was supposed to be out for the season, but I came back for the last game just because that I was pushing. Like I was trying to get back as soon as possible. Brandon knows this. I was trying to get back as soon as possible. I didn't care what it was. I didn't like the doctors out for the season prognosis with me, but I was trying to get back as soon as possible. I just wanted to play. But I was basically out for the season, and I didn't play that great to start. I think I averaged probably like 5 or 6 points a game, but I mean I was starting, and I thought I was going to have a pretty good sophomore season, but unfortunately it was pretty bad. I had to sit out. But my junior year I started again to start the season, and then I think that's when I honestly I used to play the point guard my sophomore and freshman year, and my junior year is when I really switched to playing more of the two. So I was off the ball a little bit more, and I was not starting. They started Tyga, I believe, at the one, I think. And so Tyga Walker started at the one, and I was coming off the bench, and I was really subbing in for Brandon, right, Brandon? I was subbing in for you.
Yep.
And trying to just provide a spark off the bench. I was playing probably like 19, 20 minutes a game, providing a spark off the bench. Honestly, my junior year was probably the year that I shot the best from three. I think I shot 38, 37% from three. And I mean that's pretty solid. I
It's
think I
not
was like,
bad.
yeah, I think I was 85% from the line. Like I was a good free throw shooter. And that was the year that we went to the championship. That was the first time in a while. Went to the championship. Unfortunately, lost to Gwen and Mercy. Their big man had like 40 that night.
Damn,
um,
Meech.
but uh, but yeah, no, that was a great experience. And
So,
um, my
so
senior year was rough, man. I'm gonna be honest. My senior year was rough. Um, Honestly, I think that I'm pretty sure I started all my games my senior year, but it was hard because my junior year I did shoot really well. I shot 37 whatever percent, and I kind of felt it since game one of my senior year that like the coaches really they scouted well, and they're like, this might be the only dude that can really shoot on this team. And I could feel that they were a step closer to me. And I don't know. I didn't shoot that well. I think I shot like 30%. Like it wasn't a great year for me. But it was obviously it was memorable. We went to the semifinals, lost to Gwen and Mercy again. Um, and yeah, that's my college career, my subpar college career.
no, but like that's it's crazy that you say that though, because like you've been called this before. You're the glue guy, right? Every team
Right.
needs a glue guy.
Yeah.
Alex Caruso is the glue guy for the Bulls this year. It's just ridiculous, and that's why they're doing like well, because he does the stuff that no one wants to do. But what's crazy is like you say that like you're a little bit disappointed, but there are probably more people that have careers like that than people that have like 1,000-point careers
That's true.
and stuff. So like you've been through it, you've
Yeah.
experienced it like physically, mentally, what would you like tell people that are going through it right now that are kind of like, dang, this sucks. You know, like I'm not getting the minutes I want to get. I'm not
Right.
shooting as well as I want to get. Like you're doing incredible right now. You're a GA at
Right.
the University of Tennessee. So like, what would you tell those
Right.
people?
Yeah. So I mean, I would say that every team needs a guy that does the dirty work. I would say what Coach Barnes tells our guys. So Coach Barnes tells our guys, like our big men, their only jobs are to duck in and rebound. That's what he tells them. He literally tells them like you don't need to score, you don't need to try to be fancy, like duck in and rebound the ball on defense and screen. He says all the time, and screen. So like if you have like one job, if your job is to be the best defender on the team, if your job is to take charges, it's your job. Like that's what you do best. Like contribute that to your team, and like people are gonna notice. You're gonna play more, and it's all the way up to the highest of the levels. Like there's always something that someone can bring to the table besides scoring, besides shooting 40% from three. Like everyone's going to need something like that. Charges, defense. Those are the big pieces of basketball that people forget about.
Do you think that outlook you had in college, especially your senior year, has helped you into the coaching atmosphere? I know people all the time talk about point guards make the best coach, whether you think that's true or not. But I mean, you were a point guard
Yeah.
and that role. How, like,
Right.
you know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, I think that my sophomore year was really when I was like, this is when I want to like coach. That's when I really knew because I had all that time out with my broken foot. So I kind of had like the perspective of a coach. Like I was watching every day, and kind of thinking like a coach. And then I mean, that's really when I was like this is what I want to do. And I think it is true, like the point guards make the best coach just because of how you have to know everyone's spot on the floor. So you're kind of thinking about what people have to do at all points of the game. Um and yeah, I think that has led me to where I'm at today, definitely. Just because like I had to think of it like I was a coach since the day I got there freshman year.
What about what about even more specifically, how do you think that both of those roles helped you in like communication with players?
Yeah, that's true. Kind like as the point guard, it's tough. It's tough being a leader. And Brandon knows this because you got to hold guys accountable, and guys don't like to be held accountable. Guys don't like when you tell them to do stuff. They don't like when you try to be that guy. And I think that especially my senior year, because junior year we had guys that really led the team really well, and I could play the role of just doing my job, just playing defense, just doing what I need to do to help the team. I didn't have to be like a vocal leader my junior year. But senior year, I felt like I did need to take that role a little bit more. And that's tough when you have a bunch of guys. We had a bunch of dudes. We had 20 dudes on the team. Like it's hard to be a vocal leader, and hold guys accountable that way. But I do think that helped me today, just because you have to have those conversations with guys, even today as a GA. Like you have to have those conversations with guys that might be uncomfortable, that they don't want to have, you don't want to have, but they're necessary for the success of the team. So it definitely helped me just be a little bit more vocal, because I had to be my senior year, and I think that pushed me to where I'm at today, and it helped me
That's
where
great.
I'm at today.
That's great. That's a
Yeah.
great answer. Like that.
So eventually, somewhere along the way, you get into graphic design
Right.
and Photoshop.
Yeah.
How did that happen? Because
Yeah.
like,
Good question.
did you pay? Are you paying for like Photoshop on your own, or did you find your way into like someone's Adobe suite, Creative
Yeah,
Cloud? Like, how did that work?
Yeah, let me walk you through that. So whenever
Or do you
I
not want to talk
was,
about it because it's illegal?
am I allowed to talk about it?
It's up to you, man. It's your business.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, I'll walk you through it. So my senior year, um, that was when COVID was happening, right? And so I knew that I wanted to be a GA somewhere. And so I was like listening to a bunch of podcasts, like everything college basketball related, And it was actually a guy that worked for Hofstra. He had a podcast. It was just an Apple podcast, and I was listening to it, and he was like, "Yeah, we're looking for a GA." And he's like, and this is obviously, it's a big time podcast, and it goes out to everybody. And he was like, "Listen, anybody listening to this, if you want to bring value to a team, like one of the biggest things is Photoshop. Like nobody knows how to do Photoshop here. Like we need guys that know how to do Photoshop." And so that was just like something I picked up on, and I was like, man, like that's a good idea. And so I went into Marymount's Mac lab, and I was like, man, they gotta have Photoshop on this thing. And it did. And you can ask any of the dudes that played on the team during COVID, like March 2020, I stayed on that laptop from like 7, 8 a.m. till like I literally got food. That's the only time I left the Mac lab, because I was trying to learn that before all the jobs, all the GA spots got filled. Just because I knew like I had to bring value to the program, because as a D3 player, like you're not going to bring value with your basketball. I knew I wasn't going to bring value in that way if I wanted to be at the D1 level. So I knew I had to bring value in some way. And so basically I started up a Instagram page, and I would make edits in the Mac lab, in the Marymount Mac lab, and I would post them to the Instagram page, and I would try to pick like big time dudes. I would try to pick guys that are like 5-star players, and I would tag them. And what they ended up doing was they would ended up like reposting them, retweeting them, and that got like a bunch of attention to my Instagram page. And that was like that started to blow up. Like I started to get like 200 followers overnight types. Like I woke up to like 200 followers in like a week. That's how that like blew up. And then it eventually got to the point where people were starting to like hit me up and ask for like graphics. And I was like, all right, like I can do your graphic. And I was doing them for free to start. Like I was just doing them for free, just for fun, just to get better at Photoshop. And then after like a month of doing it for free during COVID, I was like, man, I can make some money off this. So I started to like started to charge like $10, $20, just like something light, like really, really light to do it. And it blew up because I would put my name on the graphics I would do. So I would charge them, and then I would put my name on the graphics, and then I would push them out there, and then their followers would hit me up. Their followers would DM me and say, "Hey, can I get a graphic? Can I get this? Can I get that?" And it just started to blow up. And I realized like through that, like I would also have people asking me like how I did it, like how I was doing my graphics. And then I don't know how I started to watch more and more YouTube to learn different stuff that I could use on those graphics. And I was like, there's not a lot of stuff out there on like how to make graphics. There's just not. And so I was like, man, I could do this, and I could probably make some money off of like ad revenue and stuff. And so I started up my YouTube page probably going into my job at Radford. So I was a GA at Radford for a year. And I started up my YouTube page there, and I wasn't so how I should back this up. So whenever I left Marymount, which was probably in the summer, I didn't have Photoshop, right? So I went on YouTube and I figured out how to get Photoshop without having to actually pay for it every month. So I did that. I did that for just this summer till I got to Radford, because I still had to make graphics, even though I was making some money off the graphics. I just didn't want to pay. I don't know, but I mean, I had to find a way. And whenever I got to Radford, they have obviously everything you can need. They gave me a new laptop. They gave me all the Adobe Cloud stuff, all that. And that's when I really got into YouTube, because I could use Adobe Premiere. Adobe Premiere obviously is in the Adobe suite, and that's when my videos, I just started to make a couple, and I did like the basics to start, and they didn't really get like that much traction, to be honest with you. And it wasn't until probably like a couple months later I like looked at and I was like, they have like 1,000 views. Like I should start like really trying to do this. And then I posted the one that really made me blow up. I posted like an Anthony Edwards design, and it got like 30,000 views in like 2 months. And I got enough subscribers where I could meet the ad revenue threshold so I could make money from my ads.
Mm-hmm.
And after I made just like a little bit of money, I was like, man, I can make a good amount. And I started to pump out. I promised myself I would pump out even during the season at Radford. Like the amount of videos that I pumped out during the season is incredible. But what I did is I would, as soon as I got home from class we had class at night from 6 to 9. As soon as I got home from class at 9 o'clock, I would just try to do a video a week. That's what I try to do from 9 to 12. I would record and design and do all that from 9 to 12. And that was my time to do videos and stuff at Radford. And I tried to knock out like a video a week, maybe a video every 2 weeks. And when I got consistent with that, the ad revenue just it really blew up. And I was making probably 200, 250 a month off of just ad revenue from the videos that I was creating, which is wild, which is crazy. And on top of that, I still had people asking for like graphics and stuff through my Instagram, because I connected my Instagram and my YouTube. And so my YouTube had my Instagram linked to it. And so people would go from my YouTube, follow my Instagram, and then they would DM me and say, hey, I need a graphic. And I'm gonna be honest with you, after I started getting like a bunch of followers and stuff, I just jacked up the prices. Like I jacked them up.
Yeah.
It's business.
And they didn't care. That's the thing. Like if I would give any advice to someone that's just starting out, like don't undersell yourself, because like at the beginning I was charging probably like $10, $15 for a graphic that would take me like 30 minutes. Now, if someone were to ask me, I don't do much now because I just don't have time. But now if someone asked me to do it, it would probably be like $100 for a graphic, which is crazy, but like people still pay for it, and it's your time that you're selling. So
that's amazing. So because we're running out of time, I want to touch on in like 30 seconds what it was like at Tennessee this year, because obviously you guys did phenomenal. Give me like 30 seconds of what March Madness, experiencing March Madness was like. 30 seconds is tough, but like
it was crazy, man. Just to sum it up, you don't realize like how much attention and how much like people really follow a specific team. Like I'm telling you, we came down from our hotel and there was like 1,000 fans just waiting for us outside to get on the bus. Like it is incredible the amount of support you get. And like each game in March Madness, you just get more and more like people involved, more and more media attention. Like it is just incredible. Just to be involved with it was amazing. And
perfect.
It was incredible.
We're both probably everyone at Marymount is very happy for you and excited. All right. So one of the things that we do just to close things out is ask you 5 very quick questions. So like 10, 15-second answers or less. All right. And these are just absolutely random questions. So there's no particular order.
Great.
Wait, can I do one first?
You get you get
super random.
Yeah.
What is your favorite tool on Photoshop?
Probably the quick selection tool. Quick selection. It makes everything quick.
If you won 10 mil today, what would you do with it?
If I won 10 mil, I would buy my mom a house and buy my dad a brand new car, because his car is awful.
Yeah, that's solid. We had the last 2 say invest it, so you're losing on that front.
Good for you.
I should do that.
Spend it.
If you couldn't do what you do right now, like coaching, what would you do?
I would probably do something in like IT, just like everyone did in college, and just make a bunch of money, to be honest.
Okay. If you could change one basketball rule, what would it be?
The block charge. It's an awful rule.
That's solid.
I hate it.
And then if you what is one common myth about like graphic design that a lot of people have that you think should be debunked?
That it takes like years of practice to get really good at. Like I have like managers on our team that I'm teaching, and literally they're like pretty good in like a month or less. Like it's not really
Just
that
put
hard.
the work in, yeah.
Yeah, you just gotta follow some stuff. Have someone to answer questions.